One is while loop. Why? Why? The syntax is while condition. You have a sequence of statements. Here, while this condition is executed, a while condition is executed, initially this condition is executed, and if it is true, if this condition is true, it will execute this set of statements, and after executing this set of statements, it will again come back to this place, and again it evaluates this condition. For example, here the condition is evaluated, this is the condition, and if this condition evaluates yes, it is true, then it will execute this set of statements, and it will again come back to initially it is verifying this condition, it is checking this condition, and if this condition evaluates yes, then these statements, that means this is the statement. This statement is executed, and after executing this set of statements, it will come back to the initial location and again checking the condition. Again, if the condition is true, it will repeat this until this condition fails. That means after each iteration of this set of statements, it is checking this condition. Initially, it will check the condition, and if this condition is true, then this set of statements are executed, and after executing this set of statements, it will come back to the initial position. Again, it is checking the condition, and it will iterate until this condition fails. That means if it is no, then it will execute the next statement after this while statement. Okay, that is while. For example, you can have a statement like while a greater than 1, while a greater than 1, you can have a statement like b equal to b plus 1 and a equal to a minus 1. That means while a less than 1, a greater than 1, if the value of a is greater than 1, then b assigned equal to b plus 1 and a assigned equal to a minus 1. That means keep on decrementing a. Suppose that the value of a is 10. Then initially 10 is greater than 1. Then b assigned equal to b plus 1. Suppose that initially b equal to 0. What will happen? B assigned equal to b plus 1. B becomes 1 and a equal to a minus 1 means a is 9. And the next iteration a becomes 8, a is 7, 6, 5, etc. When a is 0, what will happen? While a greater than 1, 0 greater than 1, that fails. And when this condition fails, it will switch to, or it is skipping this while loop, and it will go to the next statement after while statement. So that's all about while. Then another one is do while. Here this is the syntax is do statements while condition. The difference between while statement and do while statement is, in while statement, for the first iteration, it is checking the condition, and if the condition is true, then only it will execute a sequence of statements. Okay. But in do while, at least one time the sequence of statements are executed. That means do the sequence of statements, and means initially it will execute the sequence of statements. Here statements are executed. At least a single iteration of this body. The body is executed. And after doing that, it is checking the condition. This is the condition. Condition is verified. This is the condition. And if this condition is true, then it will come back to, if this condition is true, yes, and if it is no, it will exit the do while loop. That means do the sequence of statements until this condition fails. So here, for example, I can have a statement like this. That means do b ascending to b plus 1 and a ascending to a minus 1 while a greater than 0. Do this while a greater than 0. Same thing. Okay. So that is all about do while. And next is for loop. For loop is the syntax of for loop is for initialization. Then condition and iteration section. This is the for loop. For loop is having initialization section, condition section and updation section. See, for example, I will show you how this is working. For I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Here you are going to execute a sequence of statements. Initially I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. That means here when if you draw the pictorial representation of this, initially the program is like this: I equal to 0. Initially I equal to 0. Here while I less than 10, do the sequence of statements, and the last statement of this is I plus plus. This is what this for loop does. That means initially, this is in the initialization section, I equal to 0. Initially I equal to 0 means that is initializing the variables. And condition, now after that the condition is verified. And here the condition is, it is checking whether I is less than 10. And if it is true, then these sequence of statements are executed. And the last statement, that means you have to update the value of I. Otherwise, this will you will be in trouble, because if you are not updating the value of I, always this I is less than 10 and it will be in an infinite loop. So you have to modify the value of I, and that means in the initialization section, that means you have a set of statements. That means initially when this for loop is executed, this variable, this is the initialization section, and those statements are executed, and after that it is checking whether this condition is satisfied, and if this condition is satisfied, it is executing this set of statements, and after the last statement here, that means this is the iteration section. In the iteration section, after the last statement, we have to include this I plus plus. That means after doing this, it is updating this value. Again, it is coming back and checking whether this is true again. That means, for example, if initially I equal to 0, this is executed. For I equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3, I equal to 4, etc. And when I is 9 less than 10, again it is executed, and when I becomes 10, I less than 10 less than 10, it is not true. In that case, it is exiting the for loop. That means if the body of the program has to be executed 10 times, that means we know that you have to execute the body of the loop 10 times, then you have to go for loop. Okay, That means for loop has initialization section, condition section, and iteration section. Okay. For example, suppose that if you want to find the sum of the first 10 numbers, initially you are going to have sum equal to 0, and for I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus, you are going to have sum equal to sum plus I. Sum is equal to sum plus I. What will happen? That means when I equal to 0, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0, and after that for the second iteration I is 1, then that means 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus etc. plus 9. Okay. When this is 10, what will happen? After each iteration the value of I is incremented, and if I is 10, this is exceeding. That means this will return 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus etc. plus 10, and the sum will be here. If your system dot out dot println, you can print the value of sum. Okay, so that's all about for loop. That means if you want to execute a sequence of statement a predefined number of times, you can go for loop. Now, after this, we have to study 3 jump statements. That means 3 jump statements. Jump statements in Java. Jump statements. There are 3 jump statements. One is break. Break is a jump statement. For example, when you are breaking, suppose that you are in a for loop. So in between, if you have a break statement, when this break statement is executed, what will happen? It will exit this for loop. It will exit this for loop. In a while statement, for example, while loop, while you have a set of statements, and if you have a break statement here, what will happen? When this break statement is executed, it is exiting this, it will exit this while loop. Just like this, for do while also, you can have a break statement like this. When we were discussing switch statement, in that case also, after each case, you should have a break statement, and when you are breaking that, you will exit that switch. Okay, you will exit that switch. Now, another statement is there, continue. It is just a reverse of this break. When a continue statement is executed, suppose that here you have a continue statement, then when this continue statement is executed, you will come back to the initial section. It is again calculating the value of, the condition. That means continue. That means if you are using break here, it will exit this for loop, and if you are using continue, what will happen? It is coming back to the initial location. Again, it is continuing this for loop. That means when continue is executed, it will come back to the initial portion. It will execute this again. Suppose that in while loop we have break continue statement. What will happen? When this continue statement is executed, it will come back to the starting point of this while, we will execute that again. If break statement is there, we will skip or we will exit that. That means break and continue are 2 most important jump statements in Java. For if you are using break, you will exit that for loop, while loop, or do while. And if you are using continue, it starts over the loop with the set of iterations once again. So that is the difference between continue and break, and the last one is you can have a break, and here you can have a label. Break label. Break label means when you are breaking it. Initially, suppose that here if you have a break statement, it is exiting that for loop or while loop. But if you have a break label, then you can label, for example, suppose that here you can have a label like first. Here it is a label, and now if you have a statement like break first, that means here we have included a label, and in that when this break first is executed, the control is transferred to this position. Okay, so these are the set of break statements in Java. Set of jump statements in Java. So these are the most important control statements as far as Java is concerned. That is if statement, nested if else, nested if else, switch statement, then for loop, do while, then break, continue, break level, etc. Okay, with that I am concluding this session. Thank you.